We clear the view one time and for all time.
Hello and welcome to Clearview News Desk. We are reaching you live from Nigeria's capital city, Abuja. First, the headlines. NNPCL announces increase in petrol pump price amidst current economic hardship in Nigeria. Federal government calls on Nigerians to seek formal approval before using the national anthem to avoid potential misuse or misinterpretation. Turkish Airlines pilot reportedly dies after collapsing mid-flight, forcing an emergency landing in New York. I am Gloria Atta with these and more. Welcome. The People's Democratic Party (PDP) has approached the Election Petitions Tribunal seeking justice on the Edo State governorship election. It was reported that Dr. Onucha allegedly ordered collated results to be taken straight to INEC headquarters instead of local government collation centers and personally supervised the manipulation of results. These allegations have sparked outrage, with many calling for accountability and transparency in Nigeria's electoral process. The report.
On the 21st of September, as with other faithfuls of Edo State, we went to the ballot, a very peaceful ballot, and we casted our votes. And thereafter, we followed our results to our various ward collation centers, Iraq centers, and from them we took them to the local government. At least in Igweben we did that, and it was peaceful. We saw our results uploaded. Only for us to start hearing reports of local governments like Akoko Edo, Ikpoboaka, Ego, Oredo, that they were not able to complete the process. In the middle of this, we raised issues as we were asked by the Electoral Act as amended in 2022, that where there is a dispute, collation should stop and the IREV should be consulted, because we had seen the IREV results and what we were seeing were not what was given. We raised these concerns. Only APC agents were allowed into the state collation center after they had moved collation for places like Oredo to the state collation center. And if you will recall, gentlemen of the press, we raised concerns about Mr. Onoha, the REC, the State Resident Electoral Commissioner, and that we did not trust because of where he was coming from. INEC told us there was no problem that he would perform it, that they were sending national commissioners. But what did we see at the end of the day? Even the IREV did not tally with what INEC announced. We have then now moved forward by applying for CTCs or from EC8As and several other documents 10 days ago, only for us to get court orders, which we have served on INEC, and for the state direct to continue to delay us and play all sorts of tactics. Only for him to release a statement that we were lying and invite all parties to come. Was it all parties that the court granted an order? No. And today our people have been harassed, beaten by APC thugs at INEC office in Benin. This is unacceptable. As we speak, our people are currently being harassed by the APC chairman, who did not get an order from court, but was invited by Mr. Onoha. We cannot continue this way. INEC must understand that it holds our democracy like an egg. And should anything happen to it, both we that are practicing democracy and INEC that is holding the egg will suffer the consequences. Because when people no longer believe that they will get free, fair, and credible elections, what is the purpose? If you look at the voter turnout from 2011, from 51%, it has decreased to below 25% today. Why? Everywhere we went when we were campaigning, people kept asking us the question, we will vote, but will our votes count?
This is very, very inhumane, because Nigeria, we know our story, and that is why it baffles us, because we know the head of the current government of this administration. We are in the trenches fighting for democracy, and pushed the military away and said we want democracy. But what we are currently experiencing in the case of Edo State give a sour taste to what democracy is all about if the people cannot have their vote counted. It is on this note, we the citizens of Edo State, resident in Abuja, have come with our protest letter to say you must redeem your image again by allowing us have unfettered access to all materials used in this election as we approach the tribunal.
We are pleading that INEC should please stop to be partisan, because we notice that INEC and police are working together to ruin this our democracy, and the people in the diaspora are losing faith in our nation. These are the people we want them to come to this nation to come and establish their business, to come and bring their money and help our economy. But now they are losing faith. And that is why we are here, Honorable Commissioner, to plead with you all to let INEC do the right thing and get Edo State back on track. We need the right people that have been elected by the people to be restored.
I want to restate the mission of the Independent National Electoral Commission is to serve as an independent and effective election management body committed to the conduct of free, fair, and credible election in support of democracy in Nigeria. This, and per 10th time, we will continue to state it. Of course, you will have your grudges, you will have your differences, and that's why you are here. And we have collected your letter, and we are with it here. We are telling you we are going to look into your letter, look into your grievances, and address it accordingly.
The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, has this Wednesday announced an increase in petrol pump price to 1,030 naira per litre at its various outlets. The recent development comes after the NNPC decided to terminate its exclusive purchase agreement with Dangote Refinery. Earlier on Monday, it was reported that the NNPC is ending its exclusive purchase agreement with Dangote Refinery, opening up the market for other marketers to buy petrol directly from the refinery. This implies that the NNPC will no longer be the sole off-taker, and marketers can now negotiate prices directly with Dangote Refinery. This development aligns with the current practices for fully deregulated products, where refineries can sell directly to marketers on a willing buyer, willing seller basis. Now, the federal government has called on Nigerians to seek formal approval before using the national anthem to avoid potential misuse or misinterpretation. In a statement issued on Wednesday, the Director General of the National Orientation Agency, Lanre Isa Onilu, emphasized the importance of obtaining permission from the agency before the anthem or its lyrics are used. Isa Onilu revealed that sensitization campaigns would soon be held across the 36 states of the Federation to provide clarity on the agency's new policy and guidelines. The NOA boss also addressed the issue of the Nigerian flag, stressing that its official colors remain green, white, and green, with the specific shade of green being Emerald 2.0. The DG lamented that past administrations focused too heavily on infrastructure development while neglecting value orientation, which led to the decline of social intervention structures like the Boy Scouts, Girls Brigade, WAI Brigade, and even the National Orientation Agency itself. He credited President Bola Tinubu for recognizing this gap and supporting the revival of value-based initiatives. The Federal Capital Territory FCT Command of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps (NSCDC) has taken a significant step in safeguarding critical infrastructure in Abuja with the graduation of 135 personnel from its 2024 Batch A Basic Arms Training. Clearview's Florence Joshua brings us details.
The NSCDC's core mandates include protecting critical national assets and infrastructure as well as lives and properties. To address emerging security challenges, retraining personnel is crucial. The 135 trained personnel have been trained to combat vandalism and criminal activities, building on the command's success in arresting over 120 persons for vandalism and theft throughout numerous court convictions this year. Representative of the FCT Minister, Mr. Adamu Gwari, praised the command's effort, stating that this training will strengthen security in the FCT and make threats to critical infrastructure a thing of the past. NSCDC FCT Commandant Dr. Olushola Odumosu highlighted the historic nature of this in-house training program while thanking the Commandant General for his approval and support.
This new set of trainees that are before us today, the command is better positioned to surpass our achievements so far in the fight against vandalism and protection of lives and property. Let me congratulate the personnel today that you are standing here today strong and gallant despite the toughest tasks. This is a sign that FCT Command and the territory at large can trust you with their security. Nigerians and FCT residents can only rely on you for protection and safety, as well as the protection of critical national assets and infrastructure within the Federal Capital Territory, which of course we know that the Honorable Minister has labored so hard to put in place.
The NSCDC's efforts are complemented through collaborations with other agencies and relevant stakeholders. Commandant Odumosu appreciated the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike for providing operational vehicles and gadgets to enhance the command's capability of maintaining peace and security in the FCT. The partnership underscores the importance of cooperation in protecting critical infrastructure and promoting sustainable development in Abuja. By strengthening its capacity to safeguard critical infrastructure, the NSCDC FCT Command is contributing to the overall growth and development of the Federal Capital Territory. Florence Joshua reporting for Clearview News Desk.
Cases of sexual harassment have increasingly become a menace in the Nigerian workplace. Nigerian workers, particularly women, are constantly being harassed on a daily by their employers and colleagues. However, not much is being done to salvage the issue due to poor legislation, making the menace to gradually become a culture in most workplaces. In this special report, Clearview News Desk spoke with Ogbenyi Oligu, who recommended places where Nigerian female workers can seek help. The report. Cases of sexual harassment, particularly of women in the workplace, has become a disturbing phenomenon in many offices in Nigeria. The United Nations describes sexual harassment as unwelcome sexual advances, requests for sexual favors, and other verbal or physical conduct of a sexual nature. People, particularly women and girls, face sexual harassment in all spaces, from online to the streets, their homes, and their workplaces. The International Labour Organization Convention No. 190 is the first international treaty to recognize the right of everyone to a world of work that is free from violence and harassment. It also includes gender-based violence and harassment. In Nigeria, some bosses take advantage of Nigeria's inadequate legislations on workplace harassment to physically and mentally harass their workers. Even the Nigerian Labour Act 2004, which is the principal statute that regulates employment and related issues, does not criminalize sexual harassment in the workplace. Therefore, victims are always confused about how to seek redress. In an exclusive interview with Ogbenyi Oligu, a legal practitioner, he said although there is no specific law on workplace harassment in Nigeria, some laws have general provisions on harassment done in any place.
The Constitution generally is universal. It is not targeted at any sex. And that is why there is that protection of everybody from either harassment, from intimidation, from any form of discrimination based on sex, even maybe by circumstances of birth. The Constitution prohibits any form of discrimination. and the Constitution does not support harassment of either male or the female gender in places of work or whatever. The Chapter 4 of the Constitution provides for the fundamental rights so that every human being, the moment you are born a human being, you have some basic rights that is supposed to be protected.
Where then can victims seek for help when their fundamental human rights are threatened or violated?
You can bring a civil action for assault. You can equally institute a criminal action for assault. And the police is the first point of call when a crime is to be reported. So if one is harassed in the place of work, be it male or female, or assaulted in the place of work, result can be had to the police. But in most cases, there are even administrative disciplinary actions for assault. Once the administrative aspect is taken and the person being assaulted is satisfied with the decision, well, maybe compensation could even be part of it. Dismissal could be part of it, because no workplace encourages assault, male or female. Or the person assaulted can even sue civil, and he could be compensated for injuries suffered or damages caused.
The report underscores the need to create laws, policies, and effective sanctions and punishments specific to workplace harassment to ensure that all Nigerian workers, be it male or female, are able to fully maximize their potential and contribute meaningfully to nation building. If you are just joining us, you're watching the news on Clearview News Desk. We will be back after this break. Stay with us.
We break the news.
This is Christ Embassy.
Recollect, we were the first to break this. Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf of Kano State has approved the appointment of 3 second-class emirs. And this?
Erasmus is the most successful program of the European Union to support education and youth.
And this?
Fubara is not an ungrateful person.
And more.
Tension is currently mounting in Rivers State. The planned arraignment of Yaya Bello.
Across our platforms. Subscribe now and you will be receiving our notifications and never left out as the news breaks on Clearview.
Welcome back. Following rumors circulating through the conventional and social networking sites about the 91-year-old president of Cameroon, Paul Biya's health condition, government spokesperson Rini Sadi has debunked the rumor, describing it as a mere fantasy. Clearview News' Imifuno Kwon has the details.
Biya has since been away from public function since attending a China-Africa forum in Beijing early September. His failure to appear as scheduled at a summit in France last weekend sparked speculation that the non-Nigerian was unwell. There has been a call by opposition parties and civil society groups for an update on the status of Biya's health and his exact whereabouts. According to the government spokesperson Rini Sadi, after Beijing, the 91-year-old President Biya paid a private visit to Europe, adding that the head of state is in good health and will be returning to Cameroon in the coming days. According to 3 non-Cameroonian African ministers, with no clear succession plan, Biya's death will bring more political turmoil to the West and Central Africa, which has seen 8 coups since 2020 and several other military attempts to overthrow government. His recent absence from the meeting of leaders from French-speaking countries in Paris was much talked about at the 2-day event. One of the ministers speaking on the condition of anonymity said Biya has not been involved in day-to-day business for a long time, saying if he eventually dies, the situation is likely to get out of hand as no one is prepared for the aftermath. Cocoa and oil-producing Cameroon, which has just two presidents since independence from France and Britain in the early 1960s, is in the grips of a successionist war that has killed thousands and violent Boko Haram insurgency in the north. Meanwhile, Cameroon is due to hold its next presidential election in 2025, where longtime President Paul Biya will be 93 and stand in the contest. At 91 years old, Biya is one of the world's oldest and longest-serving leaders, having held the presidency since 1982. Before ascending to the highest office, Biya served as the country's prime minister for 7 years, from 1975 to 1982. Imefonokon, reporting for Clever News.
And on the foreign scene, a Turkish Airlines pilot has reportedly died after collapsing mid-flight, forcing the Turkish national carrier to make an emergency landing in New York, the airline said this Wednesday. According to airline spokesman Yahya Utsun, who wrote on his X handle on Tuesday evening, the plane had taken off from the western U.S. coastal city of Seattle. After an unsuccessful attempt to give first aid, the flight crew of another pilot and a co-pilot decided to make an emergency landing. However, the pilot died before landing. According to Utsun, the 59-year-old pilot, who had worked for Turkish Airlines since 2007, had passed a medical examination in March, which gave no indication of any health problems. May his soul rest in peace. And that's the news. But before we go, a recap of the top stories. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, has this Wednesday announced an increase in petrol pump price to 1,030 naira per litre at its various outlets. The federal government, through the National Orientation Agency, has called on Nigerians to seek formal approval before using the national anthem to avoid potential misuse or misinterpretation. A Turkish Airlines pilot has reportedly died after collapsing mid-flight, forcing the Turkish national carrier to make an emergency landing in New York, the airline said this Wednesday. You can follow up on latest events and happenings around you via our social media platforms on Facebook, Instagram and YouTube at Clearview News Desk, or via our handle on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Clearview Online. Many thanks for joining us. I am Gloria Atta. Bye for now.